On today's show, Evan Mobley has arrived. The leap is here. He was the best player on the floor against the Raptors. We're going to talk all about it on today's edition of Locked on Cavs.
You are Locked on Cavs, your daily Cleveland Cavaliers podcast.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? My name is Danny Cunningham. You might know me from my time covering the Cleveland Cavaliers, places like my new Substack, The Inside Shot, 92.3 The Fan, Cleveland Magazine, and a number of other stops along the way. I want to say thank you to you for making Locked on Cavs your first listen today and every day. You can check out the show anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, anywhere else. Drop us a 5-star rating, leave a nice review. Be a friend, tell a friend about the podcast. Cavs season is here. I thought the win over the Raptors was wildly impressive. I think there are going to be a lot of games like that. You're going to want to hear about them. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked on Cavs. Also, check us out on YouTube. Just search Locked on Cavs on YouTube. If you're watching this video right now, hit that thumbs up button for me, click subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the latest Locked on Cavs content, a proud part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's show, of course, is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started today. So last night, Cavs beat the Raptors 136-106. Evan Mobley looked like a bona fide superstar in that game. He looked like the guy that you gave a max contract to this summer if you're Kobe Altman and the rest of that Cavs front office. I thought, and I wrote this in my Substack, I thought that Evan Mobley got that contract because of what he has shown defensively and what he can be offensively. Well, against the Raptors, he was what everyone thought he could be offensively. He is taking that leap. What he was able to do on the offensive side of the court was so impressive against Toronto. You know, we talked about the game that he had against the Chicago Bulls in the preseason, and it was very easy to push that aside. Now, not saying it didn't matter, but it's preseason. Obviously, what happened on Wednesday night matters much more than a preseason game against Chicago, right? What he did on both ends of the floor, and I get it. The Raptors aren't great. They're not going to be a great team. But Evan Mobley was assertive. He was aggressive. I thought at times he was just flat out dominant. No one on Toronto could stop him from getting where he wanted to go. I thought he made all the right plays. Finished with 25 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. That assist number probably could have been a little bit higher. I've not looked at his potential assists yet. I don't know if those numbers are quite in yet on NBA.com, but I thought he played a phenomenal game. I really did. Everything the Cavs needed him to do offensively, he was able to do it. I was very, very impressed with what I saw from Evan Mobley. And then defensively, you know who he's going to be. You do. I mean, Scotty Barnes on Wednesday night, just straight up not having a good time, dude. That's what Scotty Barnes was. And all of that on both ends of the floor was because of Evan Mobley. You go back, you take a look at some of the shots he hit. Yeah, some of them were easy dunks that he was fed by other teammates. Others, much more impressive, right? Where he had a like 10-foot turnaround basket over Scotty Barnes. He had one play where he went all the way in transition and then Euro stepped at the rim and laid it in nice and softly from like 5 feet away. I don't think those things were in Evan Mobley's bag previously. I don't know that those things were in his repertoire. And I don't think that those things were there, not because Evan Mobley wasn't capable of doing those things, but I don't know that Evan Mobley was confident enough to do those things in basketball games yet. And what we saw on Wednesday night, I really believe is a glimpse into the Cavs' future. Now, it's not going to be like that every night. Evan Mobley is not going to be great every single night. Very few players are. I don't think he's ready for that. But the comparison that I've thrown around lately has been Giannis a couple years before he won his first MVP. I thought that's who Evan Mobley looked like on Wednesday night. I thought that's exactly what he looked like on Wednesday night. He ran the floor well. He got to his spots. He wasn't pushed around. Defensively, he was amazing. He did everything that you want to see. I mean, I can think of like 5 instances where there are things he did against the Raptors that he wasn't doing or wasn't capable of last year. I don't know if it's the added weight, the added strength, or the added confidence that he very clearly has. Like, if you just listen to this guy talk, if you watched the game last night on FanDuel Sports Network, and if you heard his post-game interview with Serena Winters, I think he's much more even just confident speaking into the microphone when he's being interviewed. It's something I've noticed in the locker room during the preseason, even at practices or shoot-arounds when he has media availability. He seems like somebody who's much more comfortable being Evan Mobley than he has in the past. And I think part of that, you're seeing the benefit from it on the floor. I really do think that. But he was amazing. He was. And if Evan Mobley is going to be that guy, that changes who the Cavs are right now, and that changes who the Cavs are going to be. Because right now, you know, the Cavs are grouped in with, at least in my opinion, New York, Milwaukee, Philly, and the Cavs. And I think Boston is the tier ahead of them. And I really don't think there's an argument that Boston is a tier up. But the Cavs are in that group. And I think a lot of people believe they're near the bottom of that group. But if this is who Evan Mobley is, if he's going to consistently play the way he did on Wednesday night, the Cavs are no longer at the bottom of that group. I don't know who is at the bottom of that group, but I know it's not the Cavs. Because Evan Mobley is, if he's that guy, and he's still maybe not even the best player on the team because Donovan Mitchell is still really good, right? We know that. We don't have any questions about that. You can't tell me that is the 5th place team in the Eastern Conference. I refuse to believe that. If Evan Mobley is going to be that guy consistently, it changes who the Cavs are right now. I mean, I said on this show yesterday, I wrote, I think the Cavs are going to win 53 games, finish 3rd place in the East. If Evan Mobley's that guy, and listen, if you've been listening or watching this show, you know how I felt about Evan Mobley and how I expected him to come out and have a really good season this year. Like, I think he's going to be an all-star. You know, guy that played last night, there's no doubt about that guy being an all-star. If that's what you get out of Evan Mobley consistently, he can book his flight to San Francisco for the All-Star game right now. That's how good he was. But if that's who he's going to be, not just the stats, not just the good defense, but the assertiveness, the dominance that he had against Toronto. And again, I get it. The Raptors are not great. But you still have to go out and do it. But if that's who he's going to be, there's no reason why the Cavs can't be a team that finishes 2nd in the East, competing for one of the best records in basketball. This changes who they are. And if this is who Evan Mobley is now, it changes who the Cavs are in the future too. Because if Evan Mobley is capable of going from what he was last year to what he was on Wednesday night, that tells me, one, we know that makes the Cavs better. 2, that tells me he's not done getting better. Like, if he was able to go from a solid offensive player to what I thought was a really, really good offensive player last night against Toronto, and again, this is one game, and I need to emphasize that. But if he is this consistently, if he's this guy on a consistent basis, there's still more to unlock. So much of the conversation about him and what he needed to do to make it work offensively with Jarrett Allen was becoming a good 3-point shooter, right? Somebody that the defenses respected from beyond the arc. Well, against Toronto, they really didn't guard him beyond the arc. He took 2 threes. He made one of them. Did that mean it didn't work? No. The answer for Evan Mobley has always been be more aggressive, be more assertive, demand the basketball when you have a switch in the post. Get going downhill, play in transition, go up strong to the basket. Those are the things that are the biggest keys for Evan Mobley. All of them were on display against Toronto. Now, the jump shot, I do think still looks better. That 3-pointer he made in the right corner, I thought that shot looked good. I even thought the 3-pointer he missed at the top of the key, I thought that one looked good too. So there's nothing to complain about there. But I think after seeing what Evan Mobley has been so far this preseason, so far this one regular season game, what this guy's become, I have cooled on the notion that he needs to be this medium volume 3-point shooter. No. What Evan Mobley needs to do, he needs to be aggressive. Because if he's aggressive the way he was Wednesday night in Toronto, the Cavs go from a team that should be pretty good to a team that's one of the best teams in basketball. And that's what we saw against the Raptors on Wednesday night. Kenny Atkinson could not have asked for a better way to spend his first game, his first real game as head coach of the Cavs. And if this is the start of the Kenny Atkinson era, I think Cavs fans should be very, very excited about where we're going from here. I do. Evan Mobley wasn't the only bright spot against the Raptors, of course. In a 30-point win, it's going to take more than just one really great performance. So we'll talk about Donovan Mitchell. We'll talk about Caris, LeVert. We'll talk about the other guys that played well for the Cavaliers on Wednesday night next, right here on Locked On Cavs. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is my go-to ticket marketplace. It should be your go-to ticket marketplace. The Cavs open up the home portion of their season Friday night, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, Cleveland, Ohio, against the Detroit Pistons. Old friend JB Bickerstaff going to be in town. Cade Cunningham, too, no relation to me, but Cade Cunningham's going to be there. You should want to go. Why should you want to go? Because you're going to get to see the same guy we saw play last night in Toronto and Evan Mobley. You're going to get to see Donovan Mitchell. You're going to get to have great seats if you use the Game Time app. Game Time is my go-to marketplace for tickets for a couple of reasons. One, when I'm buying tickets, I don't like to be surprised at the last minute. You know, taxes and fees and all this other stuff that just magically pops up. Well, you can turn that off. Just toggle on the all-in pricing feature and you will know up front exactly what you're going to pay. No more surprises at the end. That takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Another thing that takes the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time, well, of course, that would be getting to see what your view is going to look like. If you want to go Friday night, watch Cleveland take on Detroit, go on Game Time, pick a seat, and it will show you exactly what your view of the floor is going to be. I think that's a very valuable resource to have while you're going through the ticket buying process. Game Time has it. I think it's pretty great. So what I need you to do, what you need to do, download the Game Time app today, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA, and you will get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, download the Game Time app, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA, and you get $20 off your first purchase. So download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Thank you again for making Locked On Cavs your first listen today and every day. You can find the show anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, anywhere else. Also, check us out on YouTube. Just hit that thumbs up button if you're watching the video right now. Click subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything coming from Locked On Cavs. The season is underway. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. I want you to have all of the best Cavs content. Some of the best Cavs content, too, is our new Locked On newsletters. What you can get, there will be a link in the description to this episode on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. We are now sending out daily newsletters. If you want the best from Locked On Cavs delivered into your inbox every day, go click on that link, sign up, sending out a newsletter every single day with the best news and notes from the Cavs and around the basketball league, right? You're going to want to know what's happening throughout the rest of the NBA. This newsletter is the place to get it. So go check that out and sign up today. But Evan Mobley was really, really good last night. Other guys I thought were really, really good too. Donovan Mitchell, I just thought he had a Donovan Mitchell game. Like this guy, he's a superstar. You know what you're going to get from him. He didn't have the most shot attempts he's ever had. Like I think he finished 7 for 14, maybe. Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley, I believe, finished with the same number of shot attempts. I think they both took 14 shots. Mitchell had 21 points. I thought he was really good. The thing that's going to be different about Mitchell, if we see this type of performance from Evan Mobley consistently, Donovan Mitchell is not going to have to carry nearly as heavy as a load as we've seen him have to put on his shoulders in his first 2 years in Cleveland, where he had to do so much for the Cavs to be successful, especially, thinking last year with all of the injuries that the Cavs dealt with. But even in the first year, it felt like he had to do more of the heavy lifting. If Evan Mobley is what Evan Mobley was last night, that decreases for Donovan Mitchell. They had very similar usage percentages, or usage rates, I should say. I think Donovan's was like 0.2% higher than Evans was. So I thought that the offense was really balanced last night. Also, Caris LeVert was tremendous off the bench. I think he had 19 points on 8 of 9 shooting in 21 minutes. He was really, really good. I like to think of Caris as sort of a barometer for how the Cavs are playing. Like, if Caris LeVert plays well, the Cavs are a team that are really hard to beat. If they're getting the production from him off the bench, where he's able to be efficient, score, between 12 and 20 points without taking more than like 11 shots, Cavs are really difficult. Really, really difficult to stop. They are. If he has a bad night, say he goes 2 of 11 from the floor, the Cavs struggle to win at times. I don't know that it'll be as volatile as that if Evan Mobley is as good as he was last night. But I do think Caris LeVert is still a guy that's going to win them some basketball games. There are going to be some games that they lose because they don't get enough from him. But I thought he was really good last night. Dean Wade was in the starting lineup in place of Max Strus. I thought that was okay. I didn't love that lineup. I did not love the way that it looked. They had a net rating of plus 10, so it worked. I thought they played really slow. Like, the pace of that group was around like 90. The Cavs finished the game with a pace of 102, which I think is a good number for them to be at. But the starting lineup played really slow. I don't know if that's because of the size they're playing that. I don't know if that's because it's the first game of the season. I'm not positive. I don't have those answers. But I thought that they could have played faster. They got off to a bit of a slow start. I think they were down like 16-11 early in the first quarter. So I wasn't in love with that. I'm willing to see what it looks like a little bit longer. Like, this is, Dean Wade did not play with the rest of the starting 5 at all last year. He played like 80 possessions with that group the year before. I'd like to see it a little bit more. This is very much a Rome wasn't built in a day type of thing. But I also can't sit here and say, wow, that starting lineup really impressed me. I was pleased that Sam Merrill was one of the first guys off the bench. I thought it was interesting, and I would love to know, and I wasn't in Toronto, obviously, I'm recording this at home. I would love to know if the plan was originally to play 9, because Ty Jerome did not check into the game until Darius Garland got into his foul trouble, where he had, 3 early fouls, and then Ty Jerome played in the second quarter. I don't know if he would have played anyways, if Darius didn't need to have some shorter stints, because he ended up picking up that 4th foul in the second quarter and couldn't play the rest of the half. So Ty Jerome got a lot of those minutes. Was Ty part of the plan anyways? Or is this something that he played out of necessity? I thought he looked solid, but I don't know if that's going to be part of the plan moving forward. The rotation being at 9 or 10, I think, is good. I'm not sure that there's an 11th guy right now that needs minutes. Jalen Tyson played in cleanup time once the game was already decided, but I don't know that there needs to be an 11th guy in the rotation right now while Max Strus is out. But I was happy to see Sam Merrill come off the bench early. I was happy to see the way that Kenny Atkinson managed the game. I thought he did a good job, and he's been a head coach before. It's not like this is his first time doing this, but this was the first time he'd been a head coach in a long time. And it's not exactly always just like riding a bike. Now, Cavs made it pretty easy on him because of how well they played, right? It's much easier to be a head coach when you're up by 30 than when you're in a tight game. So that is something to think about. I liked what I saw from Jared Allen. I thought he was good. He's going to be, I think, much lower usage. If Evan Mobley is going to be what Evan Mobley was, I think Jared Allen's usage is going to go down a little bit. I thought we saw that, but I still thought he was very impactful on both ends, and that's really all you can ask for from him. Again, Caris LeVert was good. Bummer to see Darius Garland in foul trouble. I was really excited to see him try and get going, considering what his year was last year. But I thought that him being in foul trouble was kind of a perfect way to sum up what last year felt like, where he couldn't find a rhythm because he couldn't stay in the game. That fourth foul was, it was a foul, but it's kind of a wrong place, wrong time foul where a guy kind of falls on you out of the air. He didn't do anything wrong, but it cost him some minutes. It cost him the ability to be on the floor, and that is something that's unfortunate. So as we look ahead to Friday, I'll be very interested to see what Darius Garland looks like in that game. Hopefully he can stay out of foul trouble and we can get more of an experience about what this Cavs team is going to look like moving forward. But those were some of the other things. As far as Toronto goes, Scotty Barnes had a rough night. I think Evan Mobley had a lot to do with that. The Raptors, I don't think they're going to be very good. I don't. I think that they're going to be in the somebody's got to finish 10th part of the Eastern Conference. But nonetheless, this is, I think, a really good win for the Cavs. So it's one that Cavs fans should be happy about, not just because of the win, but because of the way they looked in the win, especially Evan Mobley. Up next, player of the game. I have a pretty strong feeling you'll be able to guess who I think it is. Plus, the play of the night as well. Don't miss that right ahead, right here on Locked On Cavs. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members. That is a lot of members. And billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to you all. You just have to pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long with Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. It doesn't sound very difficult, right? Like you can get 4 things right. And if you do so, you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get in the action in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy. So your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. So if your player leaves in the first half, doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Sometimes you can really end up you can get dealt a tough hand if you have an early injury in one of your lineups. Prize Picks says, no, don't worry about that. We got you. Prize Picks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. What's better than that? So sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. I want to say thank you to you again for making Locked On Cavs your first listen today and every day. You can check out the show anywhere you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, anywhere else. Drop us a 5-star rating, leave a nice review, be a friend, tell a friend about the Locked On Cavs podcast. Cavs season is here. I want you to have daily Cavs content. I want your friends, I want your family to have daily content. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure they are subscribed to the Locked On Cavs podcast. Also, check us out on YouTube. If you're watching this video right now, I'm watching you. What I want you to do, I want you to hit like, subscribe, notification bell. Like, subscribe, notification bell, and tell a friend about the Locked On Cavs YouTube channel. So, player of the game in the Cavs 136-106 win over the Toronto Raptors. I bet you can guess who it is. It is Evan Mobley. 25 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks. Was fantastic on both ends of the floor. He was just terrific. He was everywhere offensively. He made Scotty Barnes's life miserable on defense. If the Cavs get Evan Mobley like that, the Cavs are going to be really tough to beat. They're going to be a really, really good basketball team. Evan Mobley is taking the leap. Last night was evidence of it. I don't think you need much more evidence than what you saw last night. He has to do it consistently, but Evan Mobley is taking the lead. Play of the night comes in the second quarter with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. Dean Wade scored a basket in transition. It was a really nice feed from Caris LeVert. I thought it was a terrific pass. Then Dean Wade got a steal after the basket, fed it to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell made a three-pointer. I thought that was a play of the night because I thought that was the moment. I thought that was the moment when the life was sort of sucked out of Toronto. The moment they knew, okay, the Raptors are not coming back to win this game. Like, we've all seen some bad third quarters played by the Cavs and other teams, but we've all seen some bad third quarters. And when they had that really quick 5-0 run in like 5 seconds, thought to myself, okay, this is not a game the Cavaliers are going to lose. This is not a game the Cavs are going to lose. So, Cavs 1-0, back into action Friday at home against the Detroit Pistons. I will be back tomorrow talking about that game and some other things that I figure out about the Cavs after a game one victory. Again, thank you for making Locked On Cavs your first listen today and every day. You can get the show anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, anywhere else. Drop us a 5-star rating. Leave us a nice review. Be a friend. Tell a friend about Locked On Cavs. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button, click the notification bell, and make sure you're subscribed so you get the latest Locked On Cavs content as soon as it's ready.